Hello everyone. I'm a hot mess today. uh, it's early this morning and I have been crying on and off for, I don't know, a few hours now. As I'm in the final stretch of pregnancy, I find myself way more hormonal than I was in the beginning of my pregnancy. But I want to talk to you about why I've been crying, the emotions coming from them, and a little on abundance and prosperity, and also gestation as I'm pregnant. So I was going to make this video as like a pregnancy update, life update, as I had just had the baby shower like the previous weekend. And I was kind of, getting excited. I was excited about that and stuff like that. So I wanted to just kind of rope this into this rambly video. But the idea for a life update / gestation update morphed into an abundance prosperity video because I really wanted to put my 2 cents on this. I had finished watching, I think it was last night before bed, I was watching a new video by Amethyst Ascension, Rachele. I will leave her channel link below and this video's link below because I don't want you to I want you to like and subscribe Rachele, okay? Especially if you like witchy content. But I want you to go and watch this video. This specific video. I began watching it and I was like looking at her plants and looking over, her prosperity altar. And then she started talking. And I found myself so emotional by the content that I just couldn't seem to help myself. And it was such a thought-provoking video because in the video she talks about being grateful, that everyone's going through shit times, that everyone is going through, when you go through problems, it's how you map out and strategize getting out of that problem. And then it's also about not solely focusing on what you don't have, what you're not getting, what you're, why this prosperity spell didn't seem to work this time, like it's not about those times. It's about the times that you're inside something and you choose to think about what all you do have. And I found that, I'm getting emotional. I found that so inspiring because, leading up to the baby shower, I was so stressed, okay? Because you know how when we put on parties, it's stressful, right? Because you want to make sure you've got enough drinks and food and that the house is clean enough, because that's huge, right? That you don't have like a residual dust bunny around the baseboard somewhere, and that your toilets are clean. I was really stressed about the baby shower. And then the baby shower came about and a lot of people had called out sick. And it's not work. It's not like, I'm going to punish someone for not coming to the baby shower, right? But a lot of people didn't end up coming. And so I was kind of bummed about that, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to get enough turnout. I'm not going to get a good turnout, and we didn't. But, we had a lot of food left over, but I was just, you just learn in instances like that, especially when you're dealing with family. You're like, okay, grab a Tupperware out of the cabinet and take some food with you, So it was one of those instances. And, but it was in the aftermath that I realized how much, material things, like baby essential things, must have things that I didn't get because I didn't get a good turnout, right? And so in the aftermath, I'm thinking, instead of focusing on what I did get, which, of course, like, it was, the things I did get was, like a playpen, a baby tub, diapers and wipes, I only got 6 outfits of clothes, so this baby has no clothes. But like, just did it again. I'm like, oh, this baby has no clothes because I didn't get any clothes at the baby shower. And it's like, but I was hyper focusing, and it's not like I was angry or crying or anything like that, but I was focusing on what I didn't get. My family, or my immediate family, my husband and my 2 children and me, okay, have been freaking out about not having anything for baby. And so I really was not, I guess you could say, expecting. If you want me to be real talk here, I was expecting to get some of the must-have items from the baby shower, as a way to help us out through this difficult, we can't afford the baby essentials, da 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 da. But it was the fact that I had been lately after the baby shower this week, focusing on what I still need, what I still, I have to put together. Where am I going to put the, like, you see these boxes here? Those are the, like, the pack and play and the baby tub, right? Nowhere to put them. So, so I've been, like, focusing on all the, you could say, negative stuff that came out of this beautiful experience I had. Instead of thinking about what all I did get, I got a day with my family. I got a day with, for lack of a better, for better terms, I'll say the aunts. All the aunts in my family came. That's who came. So my mom and 1, 2, 3, 4 of my aunts came, and my sister. So those are the people that came. 6 people, and it was a day to hang out and have food and be abundant, because I had food. And, eat cupcakes and be silly and play games and talk about life, talk about love, talk about family, talk about the upcoming holidays and what all we plan to be doing then. It gets sad too, like when we're all together like this. Now it gets sad because, like, at the end of the day, the adrenaline of the height of the fun day kind of dwindles, and you kind of start thinking, well, me and the aunts and my mom and my sister, we start thinking, like, wish Dad was here, my dad, because he just died. And so it kind of goes into the sad realms of it all. But overall, it was a day to be with family, and I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm sorry. And this video by Rachele just really made me realize that I've been hyper focusing on all of the things that I still need to do, still need to buy. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Instead of appreciating what has been happening, the help that I have gotten, and even on a larger scale, the support that I've been getting, and I mean, I may not have like a prosperity practice per se, but I mean, I do feel like I do witchcraft around abundance and prosperity. I just don't have like a really pretty altar, and I don't have like a bona fide setup for those things. But it just made me realize that sometimes you have to believe in vibration, and I do. And it made me think of my belief system with that, with not so much law of attraction, but the energy that the universe, it's like a sine wave. It goes like this, right? Like a heartbeat. That's how I picture it. And it kind of webs out from me into this webbed fabric of reality, into all of reality, all of the universe and cosmos. And there's this subtle wave-like energy that radiates in the web at all time, right? And if I'm putting out a certain energy and my wave changes, it's going to spider out, forgive the pun, it's going to spider out of the web, and there's no telling what that can do, what that will do. The energy that I put out like if I shake the web, right, because I'm agitated, then that is going to ripple out into the ether, okay, and potentially do something catastrophic at the end, in the string that is in the, all the way back to the Big Bang. Anyway, I believe in energy. I believe in vibration. And I think that in the times of turmoil that you will inevitably go through, because we're human, I can't always just, lock in and say, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, and not ever think about the bad. It doesn't work that way. We're human. But when you realize you're inside of those times, you can shift it, right? You shift it and you go, okay, I know that I'm feeling blah right now with whatever this is. I'm feeling agitated. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling destitute. And then instead of just going all love and light, you could just simply say, look around your room. Like in my case, my living room is like my kitchen, living room, computer area, blah, 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 blah. It's like all one thing. So, because it's a small house. So I like look around my room. I can't exorcist it, but I can look around my room and look at something, one thing to focus on that is present, that's brought me happiness, that's brought me joy. And it doesn't have to fill me. It doesn't have to completely eradicate the feelings of frustration and destitution and desolation. It doesn't have to, the joy doesn't have to overfill the cup that I've been allowing to get sludgy, okay? It doesn't have to. It just has to be some, like, a shake of salt in a cup of water. And you know how it slowly goes down to dissolve. It just has to do that. In a moment of despair, I'll say, I think Rachele inspired me to think of the moments that I am in despair and allow the salt of something, the joy. I'll say sugar, because salt, that sounds wound-like. But sugar, pour some sugar on me. Just there's something made of sugar, something made of gold that you're not focusing on the moment. And it was so damn powerful that I just cried. I just cried about it and allowed myself to feel the despair, but then also feel the joy. But then the most important thing I realized and learned from that experience, and I'm not saying I don't ever think of the joy, okay? This was just one instance where I was hyper-focusing on the bad and I needed to focus on something good, and it happened to be one thing good that I was looking at yesterday. And in the moment I learned that I had, in trying to change my focus to the good, to not feel guilty about the bad, like, oh, I shouldn't have been thinking that way. I shouldn't have been, I shouldn't have been focusing on that. It's not about telling yourself, stop focusing on the despair and the torture and the life is shit mindset. It's not about filling yourself with all kinds of guilt and shame. It's more about saying, okay, I'm still in this. It's still shitty. But I'm going to focus on this right now and see if I can change my own vibration. And so I sit down, I cry. Crying for me isn't something I always do. I will say I think I've cried more during this pregnancy than I have in the last 2 years. But I do consider crying a form of catharsis, an actual form of vibrational catharsis, where when you cry, you are actually changing the cellular structure that makes up your DNA, that makes up your energy, right? And I think that when you come out of a good cry session, there's been such an internal cleanse. I feel cleansed afterwards that it's almost like I've been wearing these colored glasses not rose-colored glasses, just some kind of colored glasses where I've not been in focus, and then the world goes into focus again. It's like those tiny moments that come into life that, I guess, to put some pop culture on there, in the movie Thelma and Louise. Thelma they're riding in the car, right? They're going through Utah. They're seeing all these like mountains, and she looks over at Louise and goes, "I'm awake." Like, really awake. Like, I don't remember being this awake, where I'm really seeing and perceiving what I'm looking at, right? I love that scene. I don't know. That movie is like cult classic for me, right? But, I mean, I'm sure it is for a lot of people. But there was something about that moment in that movie that Ridley Scott, the director, captured, just encapsulated so much of real talk that I can't even get through that scene without crying, because I have felt that before. I have. It seemed like all of a sudden I perceive myself as awake, and I'm like, man, when was the last time I was this alive, this awake, this tuned in, you know? And it's about that. It's about, you know, acknowledging those moments, acknowledging the abundance and the prosperity on top of the grief, on top of the despair, on top of the torturous things life is going to throw at you, because trust me, life has been torturing me lately. There was something so special about the way that Rachele portrayed this chat that just made me it was like almost like not a permission slip, but maybe where I was like, shit, I've been feeling bad the last few days, feeling bad about my life circumstances, but then also permission not to feel guilty about that, but then also a kick up the ass about, can you find something to be happy about, please? It's like that's what message I got from her. Not that she was trying to kick my ass, okay? I love you, Rachele, but that's what I got from it. That's the message I got from it. Like, the energy I got from her string that was connected to my web, that is the universe, it was a kick in the ass. Maybe that wasn't her intention, but by the time that vibrational video got to me, I was like, okay, I hear ya. Okay, so a little update. As of filming this, I am 30 weeks pregnant. Don't ask me why. This is something that's always bothered me about pregnancy, is that they go weeks. I know why they do it. I know scientifically why they do it, but it bothers me because, you know, Americans can't handle the metric system and can't handle any kind of other forms of measurement than what we learned in elementary school. So it bothers me that they're not like, oh, you're 7 months along. You know, that's easy to think about, right? Like, all right, I'm in the final stretch. But they say, oh, you're at 30 weeks. Like, what the hell does that mean? You know, I got to calculate it out, right? So anyway, I'm in my 7th month, I guess you could say, to make it easier. And I'm starting to feel it. Not that I haven't been, okay? I'm saying I'm starting to feel that the end is nigh. And I've got a prominent baby bump. I might insert a clip here. And the baby has let's just say they've been moving a lot, okay? I don't know why there was a long pause there. They have been moving a lot. And so the happiness for the upcoming arrival of baby has awakened a little bit more, because in the beginning of my pregnancy, when I was dealing with grief and sadness and stress because of the grief and stress because of the new, having to learn how to be a new family dynamic. There had to be a new family dynamic without having like mom and dad together. It was just my mom, and we had to learn how to navigate that, right? So there was a lot of sadness and grief in the very beginning of this pregnancy. I was kind of like not bonding good. I wasn't bonding well. Let's just say that. I wasn't bonding well. So I made some strides. I did more yoga, more meditation. Also, I was dealing with parosmia, which is where that smell and taste thing came from, if y'all have been following me at all. And y'all can go back and watch videos on the channel about my parosmia and the losing my dad on top of finding out I was pregnant, pretty much all in the same 2-month span. That was hard, right? That was debilitating. It was like losing an arm, but then also you've got a baby growing inside of you and you're like, what the hell? And there was so much despair, but then it was like I was happy on top of that. And it was the emotions going along that were so weird that I didn't really know how to it was like I was in the middle of the ocean, and there was a storm, and I was in this little rickety ass John boat, and one false move of my mentality through all that I could have just easily overturned that boat, that John boat, and just been adrift, One false move on my part, I could have just been adrift in the ocean, drowning. So it kind of, I don't know, it went to some weird places. So I tried some coping techniques, and anyway, I worked on me, right, to deal with that. And then I began to bond with the baby more, because then I started feeling the baby move. No one else could at this point, but I was starting to feel it move. So that was cool. And then probably about a month ago, the kids, it was a month ago, it was in September. The kids and the hubby could feel the baby move finally. And so they started bonding with the baby, right? And then it was almost like when I was navigating how to lose my dad and be there needed to be a new family dynamic. I could tell that there was something special about the moment that we were all sitting in the living room and they could actually see and feel the baby inside me move, that was a moment where we added a member of our family. We added a person to our family dynamic. So in the beginning of pregnancy, we lost one. And then we gained one in the moment that the other people besides me could feel the baby move. And it was such a profound experience but there was something special about the fact that they are old enough as teenagers to really understand what's going on with mommy. And that was something special. That was something really special. And I've gotten so much support from my husband and the kids that when I find myself in the throes of despair, I think about the little moments, because I believe that life in general, if we go back a little bit to the abundance thing, that life in general is about, all life is made up of tiny moments. It's made up of moments that we take for granted, and that when you get older, like I've been finding out as I get into my late 30s, I've been finding out more and more that the little moments are what's the hardest to remember. But then on the other side, they're the ones that really stick around. So it's just a toss-up, like, I hope I remember this. I hope I remember this. I hope I don't remember this, So it's, like Rachele said, it's not about completely devoiding yourself of the bad. It's not about turning the other cheek to the bad and denying that it's going on. It's about finding the pocket full of happiness in a day. I think I got that from somewhere. Was that an actor that lost a wife and she had said that and he wrote a book about it? I don't know. Okay. Okay, so here's the next part of this video, because I wasn't expecting to be this rambly so far, but I wanted to go over a few things. As I gestate, which means as I grow a human inside of my belly, okay, inside my womb, I realized that there is more going on in terms of gestation than just this baby, which is crazy, okay? Throughout the pregnancy, and I will say like January 2022, I started various projects that I didn't tell you guys about. Some of them I did, but some of them are still quite in the gray, quite in the dark. I haven't pulled them into the light yet. And I'm technically not pulling them out into the light right now, but you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So within this prosperity and abundance chat that I was, ass kicking I was getting from Rachele, I realized that there's so many other things that I have been birthing, that I have been making and wanting to put out into the world, when, like, right now it's in the gestation period. I'm still making them. It's turning. All of this stuff is churning in the cauldron that is me, right? And then when I birth these things and I say, okay, that's done. That's a birth. Once I put a stamp that whatever this project is done, that's a birth to me, a birthing. And once it's birthed, I can present it, much like you do with babies. So I realized I've been birthing a lot of things. I mean, not just during the pregnancy, but before the pregnancy too, that I haven't been thinking about, that I haven't been joyous about, that I want to be more joyous about, that I've been neglecting, I haven't been bonding with, just like I wasn't with the baby at the beginning of this pregnancy. There's, like Picasso says, inspiration finds you working. So when you put a creation of yours, you work on something and you work on something and you work on something, that's when the inspiration is going to come and the passion is going to back that up, right? And it's going to keep like adding layers. If you're roped in and you want to put that creation on a shelf and say, I can't deal with this right now. I can't bond with this right now. I'm too roped up in the despair and the torture and the blah, blah, blah. Then you put it on a shelf. You're not working. You're not working on it. So that creation, the inspiration and the joy behind that creation isn't finding you working. So you have to work. You have to pull it back out and say, I acknowledge that you are a creation of mine. I'm going to bond with you more. And it's an acknowledgement of, actually, it's like a contract. You're telling this thing that you're going to make that you're committed to it. And that's important. I think that committing to the things that you want to put out into the world and present to the world, there's a commitment aspect to it. And that's really important to me too. Like when I make something, I want to feel committed to it. I want to feel like I've committed myself to it. I want to feel like in the beginning, I've kind of signed a contract and I was like, I'm going to work on you until you're done, until you're perfect for me. And here's my signature, right? So the things I have made and that have been birthed and that are out into the world are my decks. I've been playing around with my Wild Essence Thoth. Oh my gosh, look at the colors, you guys. I can't. Like when you fan this out, oh my God. I love it. I love my Thoth deck. And it's not for everyone, but I love it. But this isn't my only deck. Now I have two versions of this. One is like this, where you get a number and the keyword that was on the Thoth, or that are on the Thoth cards, but you don't get the suit names. And then I've got another version, which you'll be able to tell in the listing, that says like wands, cups, discs, and swords. I kind of wrote them right here along with the keywords, so that's not confusing to someone who's coming into Thoth. I didn't want mine to have the suit names on them, but so I've got two versions of my Thoth. I've got some oracles on there that I love so much. Do I have another tarot? I don't think I have a tarot. I think I have like 4 oracles. Okay, I've got my Bell, Book, and Candle oracle, which is all about witchy altars. I've got my Luminescent oracle, which is my light, basically what I'm calling my light and shadow oracle. It's made up of dark, old pictures. Then I've got my Wild Nature, Wild You, which is a 63 card deck that I curated out of stock images that is profound. Okay, that deck has been profound for me, but again, I made it, so I'm kind of biased. And then the 2 Thoths, so that's 6. That might be all. But anyways, my decks have definitely been something that I have birthed, that I worked on and worked on and worked on and gestated and bonded with and birthed it. I put my stamp on it. That was finished, and put it out into the world. So you can find my decks at Make Playing Cards. The link is below. But also, I have a guidebook. Now, it's not a book form. It's not in book form because I can't make that happen on Make Playing Cards, okay? For some stupid reason. Because I had already written all the guidebooks, and the way that you have to format it on Make Playing Cards didn't work for me because I had already written the book with a different system and different format. So tried to make that work and couldn't. So I put that, I was like, all right, well, whatever. So what I did though was I opened up a Ko-fi page, which is a kofi.com page, also linked below. It's got a guidebook for the Thoth that you can, I don't know if it's $3 or $5. I don't know what price tag I put on there, but for a few dollars, you can download it, and it's just immediate download, like instant download, and read it as a PDF file, basically. I have one for my Thoth and my Wild Nature, Wild You oracle, because with that oracle, that's been so profound for me. I wrote the 63 keywords first, and then I wrote a little on why this deck came about, and then I came up with the images for the words that I had already come up with, and put those and made the deck, and then went back to the guidebook and wrote every single card out. So that guidebook was a labor of love, okay? Even though it's not a long guidebook, they kind of both act like little white books, but as something that I birthed, I feel completely biased and in love with them, and they're just so cute. You just want to pinch their cheeks, right? If we're going to keep going with the baby analogy. But, so my decks, my guidebooks that are on Ko-fi for instant download, plus some other cute things are on my Ko-fi page that you can buy. Like instant download little things that I made that I put on there for people who want to subscribe to my Ko-fi page. And that's Ko-fi is a way that you can like tip me. Like if you like a video, if you want to support the channel, for me to make more content, you can always tip me on the Ko-fi page. But I do sometimes, like in videos where I most likely put my PayPal link below so that y'all can just directly pay me through PayPal. You don't have to go through some kind of like weird subscription or anything like that. But I will say that Ko-fi has been great for the tip thing. For now, it's been working for me. So I like it. So that's decks and guidebooks, but also within the guidebook sphere is my coffee page. And that's been great. I just love that platform. So, you know, for now it's working for me. And let's see. Oh, I have merch, not shirts yet. Well, I think there may be some shirts on there, but I started a Society 6 page. Okay. Now the Society 6 page has some of my old and new digital graphic design digital art that I have made. Long ago, I had come up with the concept of the red thread with the labyrinth. And I'll insert a clip. I'm going to just like film my computer screen because I don't have a screen recorder thing. So you'll just see a clip of me going through my Society 6 page so you can see. The most, so I've got the red thread. I've got some other cutesy things on there that I drew out. What I'm most proud of with my merch that no one has ever done this, is I made the Rider-Waite-Smith High Priestess tapestry that stands behind her. In all the research I've done, now first of all, High Priestess is one of my cards that is my favorite. But in all my research, I knew exactly what to put on the tapestry that hangs behind her between Boaz and Joachim. Okay. So I mapped it out with pomegranates, the juice of the pomegranates, crescent moons, palm leaves, and palm trees. Those are all the major symbolism, or that is all the major symbolism that is present on the High Priestess tapestry. And I have made it so that you can hang it on a wall and sit in front of it and be your own High Priestess. Because I didn't want her to be in the ground, or her to be in the foreground. And it's not that I'm wanting to take her out of it. I want to put the person that buys the tapestry in it. I want them to be able to embody it. Now, if you've been following me for a long time, I like tarot cosplay. I like to dress up as tarot cards. If you go to my Instagram, linked below, there's a whole highlight reel where I'm dressing up as Thoth cards. I love to do that as a form of tarot in the body, where I can become the tarot card. And that's important to me to do those things if I can manifest it. And it gets me into the mindset of the character of the archetype of the card. And it was so important. It was a labor of love, you guys. It may look digitally rendered, which it is, but I drew so many composition drawings for that. It's not even funny. And I'm so, so, so happy with the result. Like, not even, I can't even express how much I love it. So the High Priestess tapestry, and then something really fun that I didn't think I would do is I digitally rendered the 9 of Swords quilt. You know, the nightmare card where the figure is laying in the bed or she's sitting up in the bed. She's sitting up in the bed with her hand on her head, like just having a nightmare. The quilt that she has is made up of like all of these astrological, zodiacal symbols with flowers on them, red flowers in the regular coloring. And I mapped that out completely and made blankets, throw blankets, tapestries, because I find that to be, for me, one of those more difficult cards. Like when it come up, it would fill me with dread, and I didn't want it to anymore. So, it's out there. It's out there for people to see. It's something I've birthed and put out into the world. And these are beautiful things. These things that I have worked hard on and I'm proud of. And I'm proud just not that they're heavenly and the best thing that's ever come out into the market, but I'm proud that I did it, that I made it to the finish line and put my stamp of approval on them and put them out into the world. I love that. And I'm very proud of myself. And I want to be grateful for those things. And I want to be grateful, continue to be grateful that the creative juices that live inside me are still flowing. And whenever I doubt that, I can look back on the stuff that I have gestated and birthed and put out into the world. And that's, I think, a beautiful thing, you know? So I will end this by saying I am working on 2 new projects that have not been birthed yet because I'm still gestating them. I am working on an oracle deck, hand-drawn, which I'm going to give you a preview right now. A little preview. And I'm probably going to pull you a card from my Thoth because I've been fiddly with it. But I have my sketchbook here. This is just drawings, or a drawing, okay? But to give you an idea of what kind of oracle I'm working on, it's spirituality, it's witchcraft, it's just me. It's the essence of me in an oracle deck. And hopefully that resonates with someone else. So this is one of the cards. It's a fountain. And these are literally as primitive as can be. I didn't want to be severe in my drawing. Like here's one. I'll show you the back one too so you can see. They're not great drawings, okay, in terms of art. But I wanted them to be a little primitive. So I'm calling this Fountain of Virtues. What does that say under there? Hug, squeeze. I came up with some random ass titles. Fountain of Virtues. And it's just this fountain. And I'm going to write some virtuous things in the waters. Kind of like turning this into an Ace of Cups. But it's an oracle. Does that make sense? Like I'm just using everything that is in me to come up and map out this Fountain of Virtues here. Really, really proud. Oh, and the back one is called Quantum Entanglement. And it's going to be these like Bob Ross-like mountains in the background with 2 solo cups with this tangled string. I'm very interested in quantum mechanics and physics. I don't know how to map that stuff out, like really tangibly, but I'm interested in things like that, okay? If I want to put some kind of weird, wonky title on this that doesn't make any sense, it would be Quantum Spirituality. So Quantum Entanglement, and it's just primitive, right? It's just, I drew it, took me 5 minutes, I'm going to color it somehow, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be an oracle deck someday. So that's something in the works that I'm gestating. And then I'm writing a book. It's going to come out more like a zine than a book. Like it's going to be I'll say it's going to be like a book full of essays, a book full of poems and essays and drawings, doodles of mine, all on the Thoth. Yes, sirree. I've been working on that. That's been something I've actually been actively working on lately. And it's been finding me working, you guys. It has been finding me working, and I am loving it. So I'm gestating more than just a baby. All right, let's see what card we got. Look. Completion. This is a 4 of Wands. In the Thoth system, this would be the 4 of Wands. And this image is so beautiful, you guys. Like, it was so perfect for this card. But the fact that this is completion and it being a 4 isn't necessarily talking to me about completion. It's about the work that needs to be done to complete a project. And what are we talking about? We're talking about gestation. We're talking about abundance. Like, look at the green of this. We're talking about finding ways to be grateful and full of abundance, full of prosperity, acknowledging the prosperity you already have and being grateful for that, finding ways to find your projects finds you working. This is about finding you working. Work, man. That's what this is saying. You got to get on the hamster wheel and run it until it's done. Man, that was a perfect card to get. Oh, I'm so excited. Rachele, you have no idea what your video has done to me. It has awakened me. I feel awake. I feel alive. I feel ready to gestate and maybe take a nap because I feel kind of exhausted after doing this video. So there's a little on life and love and abundance and prosperity and love and Rachele over at Amethyst Ascension. Please go check her links out below. And I am going to put my PayPal link because I didn't even talk about like the life shit, but I'm behind on bills. And I still need some pregnancy essentials. So I'm actually going to leave my Amazon baby registry link. If you want to go look at some baby stuff, and a PayPal link for you to tip me. You know, if you want to throw some money at the shade that has been Lyndon's life lately. But more than anything, I want you to go and watch Rachele, and I want you to, I want that feeling to just come into you and fill you with love for this community. Like the love I have for you guys, the love I have for the friends I've made with other content creators. I mean, it just made me so grateful, and I've been so emotional about it, but I'm so blessed. And I love that this video inspired me to think about that. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your continued love and support. More videos to come soon. Probably all about tarot and which I have a few tarot videos and some witchcraft videos coming. But you know, sometimes life, of course, gets in the way, and I can't always do it on my own on the schedule I want. But things are coming. Good things are coming. I love you guys. Check out my links below and Rachele's below. Hope to see everyone again soon. Much love.